biggest success came from movies.
Yes.
The old days at Paramount. What are your memories of that?
Well, my memories of that are terrific because I came there at 19. I was already a star on Broadway, you know. So at 19, B.G. De Silva was the head of it. He had done Panama Hattie with me and Ethel Merman, and she took out the only hit song I had in the show, you know. And I went tearing to him opening night because she left it in all during the tryouts and everything, even the opening benefit night, you know. So I went tearing to him, and I was crying hysterically, you know. It was like, that's all I had to do really in the show except nod my head, you know. So, because that's what a big star on Broadway can do to you. I love her though, she's something else.
She's fantastic.
But anyway.
You can't blame people for protecting themselves.
No, it was, Cole Porter couldn't write enough encores and out it came, but I didn't know that I'd underplayed that mother all the way through.
What was the song?
It was called, a song about him, you can't get him. It was, the great tall Englishman was opposite me, you know, that it was on the...
Treacher?
Arthur Treacher. And I was, what, this high under him, you know. And so it was a very, I can't remember the name of the song.
But it was the showstopper.
You can't get a man with a gun. It sounds like, it was, yeah, it was, he couldn't write enough encores for it, you know. But I was in one, so it was easy to take out. Anyway, I went to Buddy, I said, Buddy, what do you mean you're taking out that number? He said, now hold it. I'll tell you what, Betty, that's her contract, but I'm going to make you a star. I said, how are you going to make me a star, you know? He said, I'm going to Paramount. I'm going to be head of Paramount. He promised me that night to bring me to Hollywood.
So the song was out at the show?
Yeah, it was out.
That's wild.
But that dried up my tears, though, because in 1 year he brought me to Hollywood. And it was great because then we had Cecil B. DeMille. We had the really great producers and directors, and it wasn't a tough mic because you had such great writers, like that big Red Scare, you know, all the ones that had to go to, they were our writers. Since they've been, you know, yeah, on that movie they made, they should never have done that scene to them. So most of those writers I supported during that era, you know. But they were so gigantic, and all the crew and the love you got on that set was something. I hated to go home.
How about what's going on today, the transition that the film industry has gone through?
Well, that's
you
what
feel
happened.
Those changes are good for the industry?
No, it's what happened to the picture industry. When they started bringing in independence, it went down the tube. That's before television took over. That, of course, was a kiss of death. But when the independents started coming in, then businessmen ran the front office.
Who were not creative.
Who were not creative. Gulf Gasoline, or Gulf, whatever it is, owns Paramount, yes. You know. What do they know about making movies? You know, you're lucky to get a Godfather in there, which they've had a good last 2 years. But it's very tough, Mike, when the great creative heads aren't, we call it up front.
Yeah.
You had to watch the rushes every night. You were part of the action. You know, you were in there creating the scenes with them.
Great.
I mean, it was dynamite stuff. They'd say, what do you feel like doing here? Today they say, shut up and read the lines, you know.
What do you feel like doing?
What do you feel like? Yeah.
Oh, they let you be a part of it.
Of course, you were a creative part of what you did, particularly if you had a stage background. But today they run Annie-La, they run Greatest Show on Earth every 5 minutes, you know, and Incendiary Blonde.
Do you think that Annie shows Betty Hutton at her very best,
Yes.
singing, the acting, the whole thing?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And that was a fluke for me. You know, I've never asked for it.
How was it a fluke?
Well, again, Judy got sick.
She was too.
Now, I wanted the show from Broadway, and I begged.
It was to have been hers, Judy Garland? Is that what you said?
Yes, they shot it and finished it and canned it and put me in it. But I knew
Shot the whole picture and finished it with Judy Garland?
Yeah, and then they knew it was bad. But I knew the score by heart. I recorded 12 songs in 1 day, Mike.
Oh, my God.
Because it always was my part. You see, I think that's God power. It was my part from the very beginning. I mean, I didn't wish her to be sick, but it was awful good for me that I got the part.
What do they do with a piece of film like that? They have Judy Garland in that, and you say it's bad.
I have no idea. I didn't ever see her in it, you know. But I remember I bet Ed Mannix that I would get that part. He said, "You're crazy. We've got $1 million in it already. We're winding it up." The next day, Paramount got the call, and they weren't going to let me do it. So I went in with Johnny Hyde, was at the Morris office, who's now dead, who swung with Marilyn Monroe, you know. And I refused to do another picture if I wasn't allowed to do Annie. So they must have gotten a mint for me doing it, you know.
But you didn't. You got your normal
the
salary.
regular salary. Well, that wasn't bad.
You did a TV series once, too, didn't you?
Yeah, that was not a success, but that was...
Did you finance that whole thing?
Yes, I did. Oh,
It's
man.
called Goldie, right?
Yeah, and it was...
How many episodes?
I did 37, but it was a great idea, Mike, but you know, they ate them up. I was to go back to back with another... The TV. I did not have the cooperation of the Morris office on it because the producer just didn't come up with the scripts on time. They were being written on the set, you know, that kind of pressure. And I weighed 90 pounds when I finished that. And I had to go to Vegas and open with no rehearsal. That was the first mistake I ever made. I should have refused to open there, but they said, it won't matter, just put your name up. Bull, it doesn't matter, Mike. You need those 6 months of rehearsal.
I can't visualize you at 90 pounds because you're not short.
No, I'm not. I weigh 135. Yeah, I'm a big boned broad.
What did you do with those 37 episodes? Do you own them?
No, Lucille Ball bought them for me and never showed them.
Oh.
They were shown once the first time out. But I thought, you know, that would be an insurance policy for me and my children.
Oh, sure.
But it was a bad show, Mike. It wasn't a great show, and I didn't have... The writers were on strike.
Oh, I see.
I had no writers.
Well, who was doing the scripting then?
Like me, you know. And you can't do it all, Mike. You've got to depend on your director.
No one has ever been able to
you can't.
do
I
that
should
and get away
have
with it.
backed out of... The Morris office wanted me to back out. I wouldn't do it. Because I felt that somehow I'd pull it off.
How much did you lose on that venture?
I had $600,000 in it. I dressed the set. All my clothes were on, all the characters, everything.
Did you get much of that back?
I didn't get a dime of it back.
But you said you sold it to Lucille Ball.
I not sold it.
Oh.
She was to re-release it.
I see.
Then I would have made some money with it, you know.
What young stars today do you think have the qualities that the stars of Hollywood golden era possibly
I
have?
don't know. You know who's, I think, coming up? Bernadette Peters is coming up fast.
She's sensational.
I think she's great.
She's got a quality
She's
that's
got a way to go. If my book is a kind of hit that I want it to be, I'd like her to do it on Broadway and do the movie.
You'd like her to play you?
Yes. That's how good I think she is.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Did you see her when she co-hosted my show? She's
Yes, I
priceless,
did.
that girl. Oh.
But I've seen her in everything when she was a younger kid even. She's just plain got it, Mike.
Yeah, she really has.
Yeah.
If you were doing a picture today and had a choice of the leading men of today, who would you want to appear opposite?
Oh, Mike, I don't know the leading men of today. Remember,
Robert Redford doesn't ring a bell with you?
Well, he's Dinah Shore's cup of tea, you know.
No, that's Burt Reynolds.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. She went.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I haven't read it. What time is it? But how about Paul Newman? That doesn't.
Oh, Paul, are you crazy?
Well, let's see, you do.
They put me in a picture of Paul Newman. I'd bow down and go to every casting agent. Wow, I was in Macy's window. You know the first part of that sentence?
Yes, I do. Gee, I haven't heard that since I was back in Chicago. Who would you like to see portray? Well, you said, would you like Bernadette to do you on the screen too?
Absolutely.
Bernadette Peters?
Yeah, I think she's the only one that has that kind of energy that I had, you know. And
she can belt,
she
too.
gets in there. She really, with all her heart, loves the business, you know, and that's what you have to show. And she's a trooper.
Well, you're such a trooper. Will you join me in a song?
I'd love to.
Let's do it.
Okay.
This is my famous Italian leader, Joe Massimino.
And the greatest.
Isn't he great?
Yes.
That's right. You played Texas Guinan, and I know that's a part you said, I'm doing that. You told them.
Right.
Why don't you just sing, and I'll just jump in and find some place to leap in there with you.
He always sings Ranky music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in the saddle on a horse that is syncopated, gated, such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater. How they run when they hear that feller's come, because the western folks all know he is the highfalutin, rootin', tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy Joe. He always sings.
I always sing.
Reggae music to the cattle as he swings.
As I swing.
Back and forward in the saddle on a horse.
Pretty good horse.
That is syncopated, gated to such a funny meter, to the roar of his repeater. How they run when they hear that feller's gun, because the western folks all know he is a highfalutin, rootin', tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy. Talk about you cowboys, Ragtime Cowboy Joe.